You know, it's funny. Sometimes the simplest stories, the ones you might even tell a kid, hold the biggest lessons. They can teach us about really complex science, about our own fears, and about that huge gap that sometimes exists between what we expect and what's real. Today, we're jumping into one of those stories, the flu shot adventure. Think about it. We've all been there, right? That little jolt of anxiety sitting in the doctor's office. But what are we actually afraid of? Is it the needle itself? The idea of pain? Or is there something deeper going on? Let's dig in and find out. And here she is, our hero, Julie. That's the first thing she says, and wow, doesn't it just capture that feeling perfectly? It's that immediate wall that goes up. Grumpy, a little defensive. Yeah, I think we've all felt that at some point.
So, this is the scene, the annual ritual of the flu shot. But for our story, this isn't just some boring appointment. For Julie, this is the big challenge. It's our call to adventure, whether she likes it or not.
And there it is, the villain of our story. The text makes a point of saying the doctor pulls out a very long needle. Right away, your imagination just takes over, doesn't it? For Julie, this image is everything. It turns a simple medical tool into this terrifying monster.
But right when Julie's about to make a run for it, the doctor steps in, and he does something brilliant. He doesn't just say, "Don't worry." He meets her fear with an explanation. He becomes the mentor in this little adventure, trying to turn that fear into understanding.
And this is where the magic happens. The doctor gives this amazing explanation. There's no complicated medical talk, no jargon. He just says a vaccine is practice for your body. How simple is that? It's an analogy that just instantly clicks. So it's basically a training plan for your immune system. Step 1, the practice virus gets introduced. Step 2, your body's defenses go to work, learning all its moves. And then the most important part, Step 3, your body creates a memory of that fight so it knows exactly what to do if the real thing ever shows up. It's like a workout for your insides. Okay, but even the best explanation in the world can't always shut down fear. Now we're getting to the climax of the story. This is the moment where knowledge has to face down that fear, and Julie has to deal with that very long needle. This is her last stand. Even after hearing that perfect, logical explanation, the fear just bubbles up and takes over. "I don't need practice," she yells and tries to bolt. It's that raw gut reaction we have when we're up against something we really, really dread. And then, the nurse just gently holds her arm for a second. In that tiny little moment, it happens. The whole thing she was building up in her head, it's done, just like that. And with those words, it's all over. The nurse is so calm, so simple, all that drama, all that fear and anxiety, and it ends with this quiet little sentence. The buildup was huge, but the event itself, barely a whisper. And here it is, the big reveal, the punchline. Julie was so completely wrapped up in the idea of the shot, in the fear of it, that she didn't even notice when it actually happened. The terrible thing she was waiting for was already over. So, what can we take away from this? Let's really break it down, because this little story about a flu shot is actually a huge lesson in how our own minds work. It's the classic battle, expectation versus reality. I mean, just look at the difference here. On one side, you've got the monster Julie created in her head, this huge, painful needle, an ordeal that would last forever. And the reality? A quick pinch she literally didn't even feel. The fear was never about the shot. It was about the story she was telling herself about the shot. So what did we really learn from Julie's flu shot adventure? Well, there are 3 big things. First, the science part. Vaccines are just a training session for your body. Simple as that. Second, the psychological part. The fear of the needle is almost always way, way worse than the actual feeling of it. And third, the communication part. A simple story can make even complicated science easy for anyone to get. And really, that's the big question this whole story leaves us with, isn't it? If we step back from flu shots for a second, how many other very long needles are we building up in our own minds every day? It's a pretty powerful thought to sit with. A good reminder to maybe question our fears and remember that reality is often a lot kinder than our imagination.